Everybody here? All right. I want to introduce Shareefah Mason. She is from the Zoo Walt Middle School in the Dallas Independent School District, and she won our History Teacher Award. And I would like to, before she's going to read her essay that was tremendous, I want to read about a letter that the principal wrote on her behalf. And I thought this letter will say a lot about what this lady does and continue doing. It is with a great pleasure that I recommend Shareefah Mason for the Sons of the American Revolution Outstanding American History Teacher Award. I have served as Mrs. Mason's immediate supervisor for the last 3 years. I have witnessed her professional growth and consider our school very fortunate to have a member of our faculty. Loved by her students and admired and respected by her peers in her profession, Mrs. Mason is indeed an asset to the field of education. During her 3 years at Sarah Zumba Middle School, she has served the students and community in various capacities. She has taught 8th grade U.S. history and served as the 8th grade team lead and social studies department chair. In addition to these leadership roles, she has led several vital facility communities such as the African American Success Initiative and the Teacher Mentor Committee. Mrs. Mason's commitment doesn't stop there. She also spearheaded the voter deputization of more than 25 educators and community members, leading a community voter registration drive at local grocery stores, athletic events, and community fairs. Registering approximately 400 people, her team contributed to the historical increase in the Dallas County and the state of Texas voter registration during the 2000 presidential race, with more than 5,000 new voters in Dallas County. An unselfish and committed teacher, Mrs. Mason has spent countless hours giving her personal time to work with our students. She has the ability to motivate pupils inside and outside of the classroom. Her students are known to attend after-school tutoring and Saturday school in record numbers. Mrs. Mason has been an instrumental component of the turnaround efforts taking place at Sarah Zumwalt. Zumwalt is a historically struggling school that has been unprecedented growth in the last 3 years under the Acceleration Campus Excellence Program, a trailblazing initiative that places distinguished administrators and teachers in low-performing schools to increase student achievement. Under her tutelage, the U.S. History State Assessment scores have grown approximately 40% in one school year. Outside of the classroom, Mrs. Mason contributes to the field of education in tremendous ways. She has authored 4 educational books and presents on her publication at various renowned conferences annually, such as the Council of Great City Schools and Advancing Improvement in Education, empowering teachers and administrators with her amazing strategies. She serves as a dedicated member of the Texas ACT Council, ensuring middle and high school students in impoverished areas have access to study materials and testing protocol. She has recently selected as the Teach Plus Texas Policy Fellow, a respected nationwide cohort in the inaugural year in Texas. She will assist the U.S. Department of Education and Texas Education Commissioner in creating policy that will enhance education for millions of Texas students. She has been honored as the Dallas Rotary Club Middle School Teacher of the Year in 2015. All of her incredible campus and community efforts garnered her Campus Teacher of the Year honors in 2016 and 17. Last year, she received a $20,000 scholarship from the Credit Union of Texas to further her educational pursuits and has begun her doctoral pursuit. As a principal in the 9th largest urban district in the country, I have not found a more distinguished history teacher than Mrs. Mason. Throughout her incomparable 12 years in the Dallas ISD, she has been an exemplar for history teachers, example for the history teachers across the nation. She is an engaging teacher that makes history come alive for her students, enticing impoverished African American and Hispanic students to learn and love history. Her flawless lesson delivery and distinct passion for history and its impact on future generations, and I am honored to recommend her for this prestigious award. Please strongly consider Mrs. Mason as the recipient of the Outstanding History Teacher Award. That's from her principal. And now, Shareefah is going to read her essay, which I think is really tremendous.
Good morning. Thank you so much. I began teaching the American Revolution in 1776 with Thomas Jefferson's penning of the Declaration of Independence. It is the greatest way to hook my students because it begins in the midst of the treason as he and his co-authors, John Adams, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman eloquently collaborated on the demonstrative list of the 27 grievances that became the foundation of the entire war. I played the engaging video clip, Too Late to Apologize, a Declaration, which is a parody on One Republic's hit song, Too Late to Apologize. The video is an accurate account of these strong, intelligent men sitting at a table, discussing their complaints and contemplating how they will express their disgust with King George III and his blatant salutary neglect towards his colonists. The video captures the intensity of the patriot colonists as they declare their independence from Britain. It also provides insight into the anger of King George III upon realizing his baby colonists were growing up, had recognized his obvious disregard, and were revolting against his abusive economic and governmental practices such as mercantilism and taxation without representation. After the video, we discussed the feelings of the colonists and King George III, and that's when we go back to the beginning. I welcome my students in the classroom. I give them each a cup filled with 20 Smarties candies. Then I give them a sealed envelope with a letter from Superintendent Hinojosa stating that they now have to pay taxes on their school uniforms to pay off financial debts that the district has incurred. Each garment is given a price, and students tally how much they owe and pay their debt in Smarties. Students become upset because their candies are being taken away from them when they are mandated to wear uniforms. They say it is unfair that they have to pay off a debt they did not create and are being punished for following the directions the superintendent enforced. I connect this activity to the concept of taxation without representation, explaining how the colonists were forced to pay the debt from the French and Indian War, yet they did not have representation in Parliament. We discuss the acts and events of the Revolution, and the students create a Road to Revolution Pictionary timeline project illustrating pictures representative of taxed items and significant events that caused the Revolution, such as the Sugar and Stamp Acts and the Boston Massacre and Boston Tea Party, while creating student-friendly definitions to describe the significance of these unprecedented events. Students depict the egregious taxes through art and words to exhibit the mistreatment the colonists endured. Then, we analyze the most important battles of the war. We discuss the angst of the colonists as the first shot was fired at Lexington. We talk about Paul Revere and the brave Minutemen that rode through the colonies, alerting all that the British were coming. We debate our foreign alliance with France and the arrival of Marquis de Lafayette and his troops during the turnaround battle at Saratoga. We delve into conversation to ponder why France, whose fertile Ohio River Valley the British had confiscated just a few years before, would assist British colonists in defeating their mother country. The students quickly realized that to the French, the colonists were a lesser of two evils. Disenfranchising the British Empire would give France a greater opportunity to conquer fertile American lands in an attempt to become the most powerful European nation in the world. No American Revolution discussion is complete without the examination of the winter at Valley Forge or the crossing of the Delaware. These two pivotal events prove the endurance, strength, and patriotism of the patriot colonists that were willing to sacrifice their lives in the name of independence. We synthesize some of the integral people of the Revolution and begin with Abigail Adams and her letter to remember the ladies. She wrote this heartfelt cry to her husband to urge him not to forget about the thousands of women that stood in the places of their husbands as this important war persisted. We create a chart to compare Abigail's thoughts to those of women today who highlight the inequities in pay and opportunity in America and how women are still crying out for equality as Abigail Adams had in the 1700s. The students then produce a quick write about history repeating itself and the timeless themes that are woven through history and reoccur throughout the centuries. We end our discussion with the mighty Battle of Yorktown, highlighting the bravery and intelligence of the slave James Armistead as he spied on Britain and fed the information to General Washington. My students become engulfed in his story as it provides evidence that African Americans, even those enslaved, made intricate contributions to the independence of this great country. We converse about the surrender of British General Cornwallis to revered Continental Army leader George Washington. To culminate the learning of the significant battles and events of the Revolution, the students write and present a play that allows them to become the people of the Revolution and express the feelings of those who fought to change the path of history. In my classroom, the Revolution comes alive. My students learn how the country was built and the enormous tasks that occurred so that America become the most powerful nation in the world. If I am able to attend the Summer Institute, I would have the opportunity to expose my students to factual information. The authentic sites I would observe and the rich discussions predicated by them would allow me to become an accurate source for my students to ensure that they carry concise knowledge of the Revolution for the rest of their lives.
Her essay is just tremendous in terms of what she does with the students, and to me it was just unbelievable. We want to give you some things for winning our chapter here, and this is $300
Thank you so much.
for being chosen, and I think. Huh?
Okay.
Why don't you step on the other side of her? So
Okay, good.
Oh,
Tom, get
okay.
in
All
here.
right.
And hold up her certificate. Now I can use it all of this. There. Okay, now, one more. Photoshop the two guys out.
That would be good. Shareefah, I want to thank you and the whole of the chapter for all that you did and for all that you do. And come back to us when you're a doctor.
Okay, I will.
We'd love to have you invited back.
Thank you.
And as a history major, I want you to have this from the chapter. We give this to all of our special people.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How old?
It's my daughter. She's 10.
She's 10. And I bet she loves history.
Yes, she does.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Well, now we get a real opportunity to hear from our new Texas Inland Registrar, Jerry Brown, who is going to talk to us about the first salute.